All right, so a quick rundown on how to use the BestBale screen. This is a look at the home page. So here on the home page, we have all our scale readings across the top. This is your live scale weight, and then your previous 8-bale history, what they weigh. And there will be some green dots that come across the top of the above the weights. And what those green dots mean is that those weights are representative of your current pressure setting. So say I change the pressure, I'm baling along and I change the pressure, the green dots will disappear. And then when I make the 5th bale, because there's 4 bales in the chamber, when the 5th bale comes to here, then there will be a green dot above it, meaning that that's the new weight at the new pressure. And then the dots, as the weights move across, the dots will move across also. As soon as you change it again, the dots will disappear until the new weight, representative of the new pressure setting, comes across the screen. So that's something to note there. Your strokes per minute, your baler speed here, determined by your tractor RPMs. You've got your flake counts. And so if you have the target enabled here, that means your target flake count is enabled and giving me the speed up or slow down option, and I'll show you that in just a second. But this is your current flake count, and then this is the previous 3 bales. You've got your 8-bale average weight, so all these averaged here will give you that. You've also got the 0 scale button, which if you just quick press that, it'll take this to 0. Reset your field. If you hold that for 3 seconds, then it will clear all this data. It'll clear your field bale count and your field average weight. So every time you come into a new field, you can clear that, and then for your total tonnage, you can just multiply your field count by your average weight. Here, if your moisture tile will be here, depending on the software version you have. Either the Gazika, if you have a Gazika plugged in, it will auto-populate here, or you can go to the options and enable that also. With a moisture pad system, the moisture values will show here, and I'll show you that again in just a second. If you have any errors, any warnings, there will be an orange triangle warning sign that populates here in the top middle of the screen. Here on the left is your control tile, so determined by what mode you're in, manual mode or auto mode. Okay, so in manual mode, what we recommend is when you come into a field and you're going to start baling, we recommend you start in manual mode. And as you get out and check the hay and know kind of where you need to be, you can guess and set that pressure. Say we come into a field and we start at 300 psi, and we're baling along and we start getting these weights here. Well, say I'm shooting for a 50-pound bale, then I know I need to back the pressure off. So I'll back the pressure off. 275, okay, that average comes down, maybe not quite to 50 pounds, so I back it off again to 250. Oh, now I've got a 50-pound average after I'm baling along. So there I would say, okay, I'm good. I'll go ahead and click it into auto mode. Okay, now here in auto mode, the up and down arrow keys here will be what sets your target weight. And you notice this turned from yellow to red. If this is within a pound or two, it will show green. If it's a little further off, it'll be yellow, and then if it's a way off, it'll show red. So a quick visual indicator of how close you are to your target. So you've got your target weight that you set. Your target PSI here, this is as you're baling along. When you go from manual, okay, say we're baling at 250 PSI, and I'm baling along, I click it to auto, this will automatically save this at 250 PSI. So auto mode will pick up where you left off in manual mode. And then as you need to change, as the baler needs to change, it will change this target, and it will be reflected here in the actual baler PSI. So these two numbers should always be fairly close. But you know, this is what it's supposed to be at, and this is what it's actually at. Okay, so again, I'm going to move my target weight back up, and you'll see that change to yellow and green. So in this case, if I had it set at 59 pounds here, I would be right on the money for my weights. Okay, so the right and left arrows, they don't do anything. The circle button, that's going to toggle your screens. Okay, so it's a big loop. From any screen, you can push the X button and get back to home. Okay, so let's run through your settings. The first one to be would go to your options and enable everything that you've got with your BestBale kit. So these things can be added at any time, they can be removed at any time. But you can go ahead and add those. I'm going to enable the camera so you can see that screen. Okay, so first of all, for the greaser, when you first install your greaser system, you can push the right arrow button to activate the pump, and that will prime the system. And then you can use the up or down arrow to set your greasing interval. All right, continuing on to the max PSI. This is in auto mode. If your baler is not hitting weight that you want, this is the max baler pressure allowed, so it will never exceed that in manual or auto mode. Auto adjust sensitivity. So we recommend you start at a 1. And if you feel like in auto mode it's not changing as fast as you want it to or being as aggressive, you can go ahead and bump that up. So if it's not, maybe bump it up to 3 and try that. You can change that at any time while you're baling. Screen brightness, pretty self-explanatory there. Okay, bales in chamber. I'm going to come back to valve coil. So like I said, 4 bales in the chamber, depending on your bale lengths and your baler. But that just determines when those green dots will appear. So on the weights. Okay, we covered options. Again, target flakes. So you can either enable or disable this. If you have it enabled, you can select a target flakes per bale. And then on the home screen, if these are not within that target, it'll tell you to speed up or slow down. So I've got mine set at 12. Last 3 bales averaged 20 flakes per bale. It's telling me that I need to speed up. Okay, so since I enabled the camera, this is the camera screen. I don't have it plugged into this monitor, but essentially what this would allow you to do is it would give you the camera view here, and then you would still be able to see some of your key features. A little condensed, a little shrunk down, but especially if you're having knotter problems, this is a handy feature to have. Or it's kind of like, it's a good backup camera also. Okay, the valve coil. So this is if you are having an issue with your valve or your baler not building pressure and you think something's funky, or maybe you've got debris stuck in the valve or something, you can go ahead and enable this. And then what I recommend is just holding that up arrow. You can force current through the coil to make sure it's working. If you go back to the home page, now you can see here that it's in override mode. And you can push voltage, push power to the coil manually, and you should be able to see this pressure increase and decrease as you go up and down. So that's a good manual way to do that. You can see 395 milliamps. If I go to my diagnostics page, that's divided by 10 on the home page, so you can read it. But you can see that 3900, it does match what I'm outputting. So this is your output, what I'm forcing to the coil. And then on the diagnostic page, this is what it's getting back from the coil. So I know that that current is passing through the coil properly. So that pretty well covers your settings. Run through the diagnostics page here quick. So if you have any errors, like I said, on the home screen, if you have an orange error triangle here, then you'll come to this diagnostics page and one of these will be lit up, and it will give you a place to start looking for a potential problem. Other things, if you call us, have questions, will probably point you to this diagnostics page. So you can tell if the stroke sensors are triggered. Okay, if it's a 1, that means it's triggered. So none of these are triggered at the moment. You can see your pressure and your some of your raw data there. And you can also see over here the software version you're running on the screen and the baler. Those do not have to match. But if you call in, be handy to have those also. But that's a quick overview of the screen. Pretty easy to operate. You really can't mess anything up. Oh, there is one hidden button I forgot to tell you. Change pounds to kilograms. Okay, right there from the home screen. Just a quick press of that top left button. And that's a wrap on the quick start guide, how to get started with your BestBale monitor. If you watch this video, you should be able to head out in the field and get started baling. But thanks for watching.